Hey, welcome to AUX RTN. We have Tashaki Miyaki in the studio today.
Tashaki Miyaki.
Tashaki Miyaki, sorry. In the studio today to talk about their new record coming out in June, Castaway, and the couple singles that you may have already heard already. But I think let's jump right into a tune before we get started. And what are we playing? What are we starting off with?
We're going to play a song called Gone.
Great. That is Tashaki Miyaki with Gone on AUX RTN. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I've been watching the beautiful video for that song over the last couple days. Amazing video, amazing song.
Starring Sandy Denton.
Yes, starring the bassist Sandy, who's playing bass tonight. So I want to get into the recording a little bit, but before that, if you guys want to just maybe go around the room, who's with you tonight, Paige?
Oh, I'm Paige, and I am the singer and songwriter with Luke. Sometimes Luke and I write together. Sometimes I write by myself. And today I'm playing guitar, and that's new in this lineup. We have with us our friend Steve did a lot on drums tonight, and then Sandy on bass, and Luke on lead guitar, and that's the normal band, or the band. That's the what we've been doing for years is a trio.
Totally. Yeah, you're usually on drum kit.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what was the decision behind maybe moving to guitar?
I just feel like it's really hard when I'm playing live to be able to sing how I want and play drums.
Is it just like the bodily movements get in the way of?
I think I need one of those Britney Spears head microphones
sure.
if I'm going to do it. I think Phil Collins has like the head.
I think
set.
he originated the Britney Spears microphone. Maybe it should be
maybe
called
you're right. I should call it the Phil Collins headset. I don't know. It's Steve has played with me with my solo music before, and I really like his drumming, and so it felt like a natural evolution to try out what this would be like. So you're the first to see it.
Awesome. Is that what's on the record, or are you playing drums?
It's me on the record.
Okay, cool.
But not at the same time, though. Obviously, right?
Not on this. Well, actually, we do sometimes track the vocal live, and then I'll double it. So there are live vocal tracks, and we've always done it that way because I find that when I play drums and sing, I sing differently. My phrasing is different.
Totally.
Really? Is that just because the feeling of the drums coming into the mic while you're recording it, or is that just a...
I think it's because of, I think when I'm playing drums, I think of the purpose of the vocal kind of differently than I do when I play guitar or piano. You know, it's the drums make me phrase things in a more rhythmic way, and I'm just much more conscious of what's happening. And drums is very... it's more encompassing in some ways than guitar.
You're in the driver's seat in
There's
more
just
ways
a
than
lot.
one.
Sometimes sometimes I'm singing a syncopated thing to the beat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I sort of do it on guitar now. I don't know. It's playing drums and singing changed how I phrased things vocally.
And I'm sure it had a lot to do with how the songs were written. I mean, or did it?
Well, I generally write on guitar and piano, so there's an evolution that happens. You know, once I write a song and I think it's all right enough to share, then once I hear it, you know, with other instruments playing, or I'm playing drums and singing, it can evolve in different ways depending on the tune. There's one song on the record that I don't play drums on because I imagined this sort of like Keith Moon style drumming, and I just don't play like that. So, you know, rather than torture myself over that, I just brought in my friend Richard, who plays sort of wildly on our record.
He's even more like Keith Moon in his personal life than he is.
That's an unnecessary comment, I think.
Musically.
Okay.
How I kind of want to know what that means, or is that for off air?
He lives it 24/7.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, everybody should go check out the 2 videos that have been released. Gone back in January, right?
Yeah, we sort of, the vinyl has become delayed, and so our rollout is now extended.
And then a new video for Castaway, the single, came out maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, or a month ago?
Maybe a month ago, yeah. So I did, I've been directing the videos, and
they look amazing.
Thank you. We did 2, and then there's another video that's going to come out next week. Wait, is it Monday?
Today is
Wednesday?
Monday,
Oh,
yeah.
damn. It comes out this week.
Wednesday, I believe.
I got my second vaccine and it made me so sick, and I've lost a week of time, and I don't know what day it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that happened to
that's-
me last Sunday.
That's me
Same
all
thing.
the time. Let's jump into another tune, and we can come back and talk maybe a little bit about the process of recording the new record, Castaway.
Great.
What are we jumping into?
We're gonna play an older tune that we don't often play anymore, but it just sounded cool with Steve on drums. So
Awesome. This is Tashaki Miyaki
it's called
on.
Best Friend.
This is Tashaki Miyaki on AUX RTN with a Best Friend.
If you want me to, I will go
Awesome. So the new album is coming out. You want to take us through? I wasn't able to find, where did you guys record the new album at?
We recorded it mostly at Cassidy. He's a engineer called Cassidy Turbin at his home studio.
Yeah, I was looking through the roster of personnel. He got quite the list of engineers working on this record.
Yeah, there was a kerfuffle in the mixing stage.
What sort of kerfuffle?
Well, it sort of had to do, I think, with like what we were experiencing earlier here, where things in the head, what I learned from a recording perspective is how important headphones are and how important it is that you hear things clearly when you're working, because sometimes what's being recorded and what you're hearing in your headphones are not the same thing. And so when I went to mix the record, that is when I made that discovery. Because it's kind of hard if you're producing things and you're on the floor playing instruments. You're not always going in the control room and hearing everything, especially if you get on a roll and you're like feeling vibey and you just want to keep going. And I think for me, like I learned a really big lesson about spending time in setup, and so that you don't have to spend as much time in post, like
Absolutely.
fixing
Right.
your mistakes. So
Totally.
it was a very hard earned lesson, but it was a good lesson.
So did you find yourself having to go back and retrack stuff based on that?
I didn't really retrack stuff. I sat with some people who are much better at recording than me and, got schooled about what was wrong with my tracks and why it was hard for me to mix them. Because I would say like, oh, this is the problem I'm having with this mix. No matter what I do, it won't sound this way. And they were like, well, it's never going to sound that way because listen to this, and and so it was those kinds of discoveries.
Yeah, in some ways it's a lot like baking, where you have, it's all chemistry, but if one thing is, the ratio is wrong on one aspect of it, then it throws everything off, and then
Yeah.
and then you gotta
It's exactly like baking is a great analogy, because it's like if you bake something, if you're baking cookies and you don't let the butter be room temperature, if you try to microwave melt it, it will screw up the consistency of the cookie. And that's what I did. I tried to microwave the butter,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just to interject, Paige is also a baker. I feel
Oh.
like that's relevant. I just want to interject with
Thanks.
that. She makes really excellent cookies. If you've had her oatmeal chocolate chip, they're unforgettable.
They're must-haves.
Yeah, they're
I don't
must-haves.
bake, so that's why I'm like, oh man, it doesn't work for me.
You're right, though. Baking is a really exacting science, and I think recording is too. And I think a lot of people these days are kind of like, oh, like here's a thing that drives me crazy. I'll be working with somebody, and I'll because I play drums, and there'll be a ring in the drums. If you guys record, you know what I mean. It's
Totally.
or like a bongy sound, like bong, a beat, like it sounds like a basketball or something. And I'll be like, that sounds terrible. And they'll be like, oh, you won't hear that. Oh, you won't hear that. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. If you hear it, you're going to hear it. It's going to be there.
Yeah. Tristan and I work a lot too, and I always say, I'm like, you want to get that ring? And you're like, and Tristan's always, no, it's in the key. Just leave it. And I'm always like, no, I don't want it.
I will. I'm very serious about not having the rings and the. I've learned the hard way. If you can hear it, it's there, and it's going to be there, and it's going to,
Right.
all the denoising apps in the world can't fix certain
It's just
things.
it's not worth like the trouble when you could fix it right there in the room. Get a different drum.
I think, yeah.
Record it in a different space.
Yeah, it's like the analogy I use is because I have an interest in film and lighting and stuff. So, if you light something really beautifully, you don't have to do a lot in post. And it's the same with recording. If you spend the time setting it up and really get it how you want things to sound. And I actually have learned through this evolution of playing in this band and recording myself and other people that I actually like things that are quite naturalistic. And if there's distortion in something, I like a natural distortion, like versus an unnatural distortion,
Sure.
if that makes sense. Or I want the distortion to be purposeful. Like if we're going to unnaturally distort something, I want that to be an artistic choice, not like I don't know how to use this gear and so it's distorting the vocal.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So how did you make the decision to go to Cassidy? Is he a friend that you've worked with
Yes.
previously?
Yeah, he is. He, several years ago, I don't know how long it's been because I actually have zero concept of time at all. Like, I think I have a disorder. There's probably a name for what this disorder is where I don't know if it's been 1 year or like 10 years, but
I think it's called musician.
I think I've known Cassidy for like a long time, but I don't know how long it is. So that's weird. But at some point he emailed us Blind, the band, and we had just like finished the last record, The Dream.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like
that,
2017.
It was before that though, because that was also I mixed that record like 3 times too. Like I've this, when I say it's a hard earned lesson, I really mean it. Like
Yeah.
So yeah, so somewhere around then, I think it was maybe more like 2015 or 20, yeah, maybe like 2015. I had all these like solo songs. So I actually have made like an entire record of solo music with Cassidy that's just, I haven't done anything with it. It's just, I'm hoarding it, I like
Okay.
to hoard stuff. And so I got to know him doing that. And then I just really liked the experience of working with him. He's a really nice guy and he's really skillful at what he does and super just, his vibe is so good. I like his studio and I like his energy.
Awesome. Yeah, and then the Dream. I was looking through the liner notes for Dream, and it said that Dan Horn worked on a lot of that record. Was he just engineer?
Yeah, that's like Luke should talk about Dan. That's Luke's best friend. Luke.
What about him?
I'm gonna send the Dan Horn question to you.
How did you? I mean, Dan is apparently, or you're a good friend of yours.
Yeah. We grew up together in Palo Alto back in the late 90s.
Very cool.
And we've been playing music forever.
And you're just like, hey, bud, do you want to come and help out? You're an amazing engineer.
I think a lot of it is just that who we know and who we can stand like being in the same room with.
We were gonna do the whole record with Dan, but then he had to go on tour or something.
He got
Castaway?
Yeah, because we started like 2 songs with Dan, and he like went on tour, and that's because Dan's studio, Luke lives at Dan's studio house.
Mm-hmm.
So, isn't that what happened? He went on tour, so he went on tour with somebody. I don't remember.
Or
What?
Somebody died or something. I don't know.
No, it wasn't that time. It was the tour. I think he went on tour.
His Grateful Dead cover band
Yeah.
started blowing up, and he didn't have time to record other bands anymore.
Yeah.
This is real facts.
The van got the trailer.
This is facts. This is what happened. And so we started a couple things with him, and then that's why there's so many engineers, like, because we started a couple songs with Dan, and then we went to Cassidy's, and then my other favorite person to work with is Joel Jerome, and Joel is my best friend, and over the quarantine, we made an instrumental record with Joel, this band, Tashaki did. And when we were making that instrumental record, there was one song that I ended up writing vocals to, and then I was like, I think that should go on Castaway. And so we added that. And then also Joel was trying to help me mix Castaway at one point, and it wasn't his fault that he couldn't help. It was my fault. So
How could he not? Was it the same issue that you were talking about before?
The tracks needed to be repaired, and Joel isn't. I think that I couldn't afford to, hire him to repair them in the way I needed. So.
Well,
we could just say it here. We don't have any sponsors. Isotope is too damn expensive.
Well, I think
Not repairing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the record, or at least the 2 singles that I've heard so far, are flawless, and everybody should go take a listen.
Thank you.
Let's jump into another tune. What do you guys want to play?
I'm gonna switch to this other guitar.
Oh, sure.
What song?
What?
Which tune?
Title track, perhaps.
Oh,
Maybe we should.
segue.
We're doing Castaway the song. There's
Castaway
Castaway the song. There's Castaway the record, and then there's Castaway
The movie.
the movie.
The film, yeah.
I like to name songs after silly movies.
Well, it might be Robert Zemeckis' greatest achievement.
Do you really feel that way?
No.
I didn't think so.
But I'm not a big Hanks guy.
America's Sweetheart.
You're not a Hanks guy? What does that even mean?
Just not a big Hanks guy.
You're not a Hanks guy. Okay. All right, Luke.
You know, Big was originally written for De Niro,
Jesus.
and it was
Big
supposed to
Big
be
is kind
more
of a
serious.
fucked up movie.
It would have been more fucked up.
Big is kind of a fucked up movie.
would've
When
been
I
very
saw that movie for the
strange.
first time as a child, I was really disturbed by it.
I felt pretty disturbed by it also, just the fact that he was like rocking around with this
Elizabeth Perkins.
Yeah, with a grown woman.
I think they could have made it so that they never had a physical relationship, and the movie would have worked in the same way. Like, oh, this grown woman is like, who is this man that I'm just having a slumber party with? Like, it could have been that. For me, the movie would have worked better without them having a physical relationship. I feel disturbed by that. But the Tom Hanks movie that I like is Joe versus the Volcano.
I'm not even. I don't know that movie.
Well, it's a movie that bombed, and it was directed by and written by John Patrick Shanley, who is a Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright. And he wrote Doubt, and he made this movie, and it's epic. I love it. It's a great movie, underrated. But it bombed so hard. It's Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks.
Jeez.
It's one of Beth's favorite movies, Paige.
I feel like Beth and I have the same taste in like movies and shows, we've discovered, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's such a good movie. The opening of that movie is one of my favorite movie openings. That movie, when they're like trudging through the mud. It's the art direction on this movie is kind of incredible.
Well, I have to see it.
And Meg Ryan plays two characters. She plays twin sisters. It's like a crazy movie.
My wife is texting me like, I cannot believe you have not seen Joe versus the
You
Volcano.
must have a brain cloud.
Yeah, it must be that brain cloud. The luggage in that movie is one of my favorite. It's like an object, but as like a part of the movie.
I don't know it at all.
That Steve does.
That's
When you watch it, you're going to be like, wow, this movie.
Is the luggage like the siren in the beginning of Naked Gun? Is that what? Like that's all I'm picturing right now, where it's like
this-
going through
well,
malls and
Can I
different places.
Can I spoiler alert it?
Please.
Spoiler alert. He buys this. He thinks he's going to die. And this is the premise of the movie. He thinks he hates his job. He has this boring office job. And he thinks this doctor tells him he's going to die from a brain cloud. And so because he's going to die, he's decided to go jump into a volcano because the people on this island need someone to do that voluntarily to keep the volcano from exploding. And so he volunteers to do it. And Meg Ryan, one version of Meg Ryan takes him to the boat, and the other version of Meg Ryan sails him there. So she goes with him. And the boat sinks. And he bought this really expensive luggage because he thought he was going to die. So he bought this really expensive, like old-fashioned, like luggage, like you would see in like the 20s on like a train, and it floats, right? It floats, and so they make the luggage into a raft, and they survive the boat sinking.
So he gets to the island and then jumps
He gets
into
to
the volcano?
yes, he does with
Nice.
Meg Ryan, and there's one point where he sings like Blue Moon or something on the luggage, and then at the end, when they decide to jump in the volcano together because they've fallen in love, and the volcano spits them out, and they land in the water, and the luggage pops up.
Oh shit!
The whole island sinks when the volcano erupts. It's a small island, and it just sinks. But the luggage.
All right.
Samsonite.
I just don't see how this movie could fail with that plotline. I'm surprised.
I mean, I gotta know. It has to be Samsonite luggage, right?
It's basically
like-
the prequel to Castaway.
I think it's
Pretty
like, I don't know. It's not a brand name. It's just this magic luggage.
They missed a perfect sponsor opportunity.
It's a great movie. Even though I spoiler alerted it, it's still really good.
I prefer to know the ending before I engage in any movie. Just safer that way.
I mean, I like the Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks movies. So, and on the next break, we can talk about another movie that made me feel weird as a child with Meg Ryan in it. Joe versus the Volcano did not, but Big did. Okay. Do I start this one? Yes. Can I have... Is it possible to get a little bit more of my vocal and a little bit more of my guitar in my headphones? This electric guitar.
How's that for you?
You can take it down in these.
Luke, does this sound... Or this?
The warmer one, I think.
Okay. Give me a reason to cry. It's been so long since I had a feeling. I don't remember why I do anything. What am I doing here? I don't want to be the one to love you. I'm no good at it. Oh well, I guess that we are stuck together like two castaways out at sea. You and me. I don't understand time. Where's it all going to? How will this end for us? People say that there are signs from the universe. Do you believe in that? I don't want to be the one to love you. I'm no good at it. Oh well, I guess that we are stuck together like two castaways out at sea. You and me. You and me. You and me. You and me. You and me.
Awesome.
That was Castaway from Tashaki Miyaki from the new record Castaway coming out this June. So what you said that it's been a process learning, mixing your own records. And I know that that's, very difficult for a lot of artists to do.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't recommend it.
But it's just the way that you have to do it. Is that?
We've just never had like a big budget to like hire a team of people. So like me learning to do everything and doing everything was sort of like a choice of economy. It wasn't like, oh, I want to be this person that does all these things. I actually don't want to do anything ever. Like I want to sit on my couch with my dogs and watch Netflix.
But here you are in a studio playing music.
Well, I like playing music with my friends. I like playing music, but I don't, I'd like to hire like Dave Friedman to make our record. I'd like to do that. Maybe, I'm putting that out there in the universe. So
intentions.
Yeah.
So, well, how did you go? Did you just start piecemealing kind of like your setup, or how you started recording, or did you just kind of do it as needed?
Well, we've just always worked with different engineers that we're friends with, and then I just got really into, like how I wanted things to sound, and these things make these sounds, and kind of, I guess that is piecemealing.
Pieced it together off of like suggestions that people were giving you off of like.
Yeah, and I started collecting like little things that make a big difference to me, like little pieces of gear that, for me, have personality and like change things for me, and I really dialed in my drum sound, and I got really into that for a while, just kind of that, and just played around with different kinds of like effects and stuff.
So what has been the difference between the Dream, the previous full length, and this new record coming out in June, recording wise? Aside from the personnel changes,
there's a lot less effects on everything. Like I feel like there's a lot more clarity. Like I think when I was doing the Dream, I think I wanted to put reverb on everything. I just put reverb on every single instrument. And then in the learning space between then and now, because I actually started making the recordings for the Dream in 2012. It was just, I took a long time to do that, and I was doing other things, and I would start and stop. And so, there was a big learning curve there, and then there was a big learning curve from that one to this one. Mm-hmm. And I realized the value of having there be differences, that reverb goes further if it's on one thing, if it's not on every single thing. I'm super into like 50s recordings and older recordings, and I like the use of reverb in older records, and it's so clear too. Like that's a thing I've become obsessed with, is like how you have these, like the Flamingos record, I Only Have Eyes for You, which I'm obsessed with. There's so much reverb on it, but everything is very clear.
Yeah. I mean, I find myself more recently using mono reverbs than stereo reverbs just for that reason.
Yeah.
And I think, all those recordings from the 60s and 50s, those were, and mono plates or springs that are panned across the spectrum, maybe, but in most cases they're mono recordings, and it's like you would think that you would get a lot more clarity from a stereo reverb, but
on both records we used the reverb at Capitol.
The chamber?
Yeah, multiple chambers, the reverb chambers there, and but even when you're doing it at a place like that has an incredible reverb chamber, there's still, like dialing it in and making sure that the things you're sending on this record, the mistake I made was I thought that when we were going to Capitol that stuff had already been EQ'd, and it hadn't. And then we got there and I found that out, and I was like, oh shit, well, we can't do it now. So we're here, we made this appointment, so we have to just do it. And so then when you do that, when you send like anyone who's listening to this that's an audio engineer is going to be like, this girl is so dumb. But this is really what happened. So for other people that are self-taught and learning, I'll share it, is that if you haven't edited your files and you send them to the reverb chamber, it enhances the negative aspects of everything. So if there's like in the thing, it's like that amplified. And so that then created this other thing where then I had to go in and fix all the reverb. I had to have someone help me fix the reverb.
Are you talking about like mouth noise?
No, I'm talking about just like, sometimes like I don't have equipment that I'm using all the time that's incredible. So, like it might not be the best microphone for my voice, or like I said earlier, where the headphones, I wasn't maybe hearing something that later when I listened to it in like flat speakers, like I like to listen to things on speakers that are really flat so that I can hear what it really sounds like. And that's another thing I learned in this process. So like I'd listen to it and I'd be like, oh my God, that has this horrible sound in it. It has like a or some whatever, like say it's my vocal.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that goes through the reverb chamber, and then that part of the vocal, like the part of the voice that nobody wants to hear, is like way amplified. And so then you have to fix it. And so, that's a timely thing. And that's where I had Greg and John kind of helping me. I mean, really, they weren't kind of helping me. They were very much helping me. They're experts. And so
yeah,
that was, and they were like, well, yeah, this is what you did. And it made it worse. And I'm like, yeah.
John is John Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's an expert in the atmospheric, textural.
He's an expert at recording.
Aspect.
Yeah, he's an expert at, I would say he's an expert at music and
Sure.
the science of recording as well, like magnetism and why things do,
Yeah.
So he and his engineer, Greg Collar, are great people to ask questions because they're so deep in it, they're decades in it and they know the answer.
Yeah. Sometimes
the answer is like way beyond me. I'm the first to admit.
Well, that's cool. So you took some parts of the record to Capitol, to the chambers. Some parts of this record, or parts of the previous record?
Both records we printed reverb.
Cool. And so you just is that the only chamber that you use, just Capitol, or are you augmenting that with plugs?
There's multiple chambers at Capitol.
Yeah.
So yeah, we printed the Capitol chambers. On the Dream, I think like it's on both records it's mostly the Capitol thing, but it's like if we recorded a tambourine after the fact, then it's like a plate reverb.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Horn has a good plate reverb.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. So that's on there.
Awesome.
Was that and is that the reason why you got Ian Sefcik to master it for you guys, because you guys were already at Capitol, or how did that relationship come about?
Ian is another person that Luke knows from his Bay Area pals. Do you want to answer how we know Ian, Luke?
He used to be in a band in the 90s called Creeper Lagoon that was really awesome from San
Creeper
Francisco.
Lagoon.
Yeah.
And I've known him and Dan since like the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then those two guys had moved to LA, and I didn't move here till years later. And those were like the only two guys I knew, so
Nice.
that's who
Yeah.
I work with.
Yeah, and then when John was working at Capitol, he and Greg and Ian all got to know each other when, because Ian taught himself to use a lathe and got really into that and is like one of the good people in town that does that job, which is really hard to find. Highly recommend.
Yeah, he took that lathe out of storage, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And so he he knows how to do that, and that's like a rare thing these days. And when John and Greg were camped out at Capitol for a while, and they all just got to know each other. So then I know him through both places, through Luke and through Greg and John.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I am not a big Robert Zemeckis guy though.
Ian's not. He doesn't like Robert Zemeckis.
He doesn't like any of that kind of like tug at your heartstrings kind of Forrest Gumpy stuff.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
He's kind of a more hardcore
He's a real power now kind of guy.
Yeah, he doesn't deal with that Tom Hanks.
Is he more like Michael Mann? He wants like
Yeah, he likes a gritty kind of like
a gritty man movie.
yeah, like a James Caan kind of situation.
I like a tough guy with like a sweetheart, like that movie, you know,
Sure.
like The Godfather.
Do you guys want to play another tune?
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Awesome.
I'm gonna.
Are you back on the J45?
No,
No. Okay.
I just stepped on a fuzz. I got fuzz happening now.
We got the fuzz.
Is it good? The fuzz is good, Luke?
Sounds great.
Okay. Sitting all alone in my bedroom, wishing that I had more headroom, thinking about all this gloom, doom, am I alright? I'm fine. I'm fine. I feel fine. I can't keep up with all of the bad news. It's hard for me to just be me with you. Anything that I say or do is never right. What do you want me to do with what we have added up to? Is there anything left about us that you like? Am I right? I'm fine. I'm fine. I feel. I love you, but I can't stand you. After all the shit we've been through, nothing for me left to do, but I try. I think that I'm fine. I think that I'm fine. I think that I'm fine. I'm
Awesome. So the album is coming out beginning of June.
It comes out July 2nd.
July 2nd. Okay.
Yeah.
Your record's in the same area that our record that we're waiting for is. I'm
In
guessing,
that COVID limbo.
yeah, in the Suez Canal, like we've been making the joke.
It's just like when we pushed it back, they're like, well, there's a chance that it might get pushed back again. And I'm like, well, if it does, it's just whatever. Then
Okay.
people have to just deal with it because there's apparently like one place that they make records now or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know,
Yeah, we all know.
we all know.
Yep.
So we are accepting it and we are doing the best we can.
They could find that on your website or on Bandcamp or
Yeah, so you can
Okay.
pre-order it on Bandcamp right now. So it's tashakimiyaki.bandcamp.com. We are constructing a website, so the website will be existing at some point soon. But right now it's just Bandcamp is the best place. And then, of course, on Instagram, we have links to everything in our bio on Instagram. There's like a link tree thing that has, you know, anything you ever wanted to know.
Yep.
Totally.
Anything else coming up soon or that people could check out? Or
Like I said, we have a video that's going to be coming out this week. So I don't even. We're sort of. I'm waiting to hear when it's coming out. It's either Wednesday
Sure.
or Thursday. So, but Wednesday or Thursday, the video will be out, and then the single comes out on all the streaming platforms on Friday.
Awesome.
The one we just played.
Awesome. Wait, this Friday. The whole record comes out.
No, new
No.
single this
Oh,
Friday.
the new single this
it's
Friday.
gonna because the rollout got extended. There's gonna be a new single this Friday,
Uh-huh.
and then at the end of next month there'll be one more single and another video.
Awesome.
And then in June we have a weird dead month because the record was supposed to be out already. So we're gonna do some friends of ours are gonna do some special remixes. I'm excited about that. I don't want to share that yet because that's to be continued. And then the record will come out July 2nd, and we're gonna try to do some more things like this. You know, like since things aren't open. Or maybe they are open. I don't even know what's happening, you guys. I don't know what's happening with the COVID, but we're going to do some virtual performances for sure.
very cool. Well, thanks again for coming out.
Thank you so much for having us. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, everything sounds fantastic, and I encourage everyone to go get the record when it does come out, and listen to the singles that are out and the new single that will be out this Friday, and watch the awesome videos that
Thank you.
Paige has been directing,
And Sandy.
and Sandy dancing in.
Sandy dancing down Grand Avenue makes me cry. I can't believe we filmed that. And Luke was driving the car.
It's a group effort.
It's a great shot.
It's so good,
working
right?
The dolly.
It's so good.
What's that, Luke?
I was the dolly. What do you call it? Tracking.
You're the getaway van.
Well, in a professional movie, you would probably have track laid down, and the
Right.
camera would be on a little cart. But we were in a minivan
Yeah,
and
instead we were in
With
a
the door
minivan.
open.
with the door open,
Bad alignment.
driving in a bus line, like a bus lane, during a time that there was a lot of bus traffic. So it was pretty miraculous that happened.
But that's exactly how Robert Zemeckis did Back to the Future. So it all kind of comes full
Definitely,
circle.
that's just not true.
Well, it's as iconic. So.
Well, thank you. I mean,
Oh, I was,
no, go ahead, Sandy.
I was going to say it only, I think, could have happened because of COVID, which is interesting because there's no way we would have been able to do that
No.
had it been downtown rush hour
No way.
LA traffic.
No.
So in a weird way, that was only possible
Yeah.
because of that unique emptiness that probably we will never experience again.
Yeah, it's
So,
true. And we managed to not have any masked people in our shots, which is incredible.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be difficult.
I hate it, so I'm like, oh, thank God.
Do you guys want to play one more song out,
Oh boy.
or is
We
that
have
not the
another?
plan?
No, we planned.
could.
We
Oh,
prepared
yeah.
another
Yeah,
one.
we have another.
Is Luke on Cool Runnings? Should I play acoustic or what?
Whatevs, bro.
Well, what do you think?
Whatever you got ready, probably.
Okay.
Sounded good on electric.
Yeah.
I have to retune though.
Nah.
No, this capo.
Zemeckis started out so good early on, and then he just really kind of dipped.
Is this about Back to the Future again? Because I think Back to the Future 1 is kind of a perfect movie. Like, I don't...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Zemeckis, he was just...
Well, he didn't do the other two, did he?
Probably not. I mean, the second one, the other two... I kind of like the third Wild West one with Mary Steenburgen better than the second one. The second one is just really bad.
The third was one of those movies that I had a VHS of and played it every night, like on repeat.
Really?
All the time. I loved that Western movie, or the Western vibe, and I don't know, there was something about...
It was ZZ Top.
The Western one is cool. It's cooler than the one with Biff. Like, I don't like Biff.
Biff's in there. Biff
But-
Tannen.
I know,
Mad
but the
Dog.
second
Oh,
one...
Mad Dog Tannen.
The second one is, like, all about Biff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the Biff story. Like, I don't mind Biff as, like, a minor character that shows up sometimes, but, like, I'd much rather learn about Mary Steenburgen.
I do like how they marketed that one as like, oh yeah, that's a fictional, it's a separate like reality. And then it's like, oh great, it became reality.
The Trump stuff,
Yeah.
like, every comedy thing did, like, a parody that ended up being our reality. Okay, that's close enough.
Biff.
So thank you guys so much. We'll say a quick goodbye when we come back, but thanks again so much for coming out. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much
And
for
everything
having us.
sounds so good.
Thank you. Thanks for this. I mean, setting everything up.
You know, T. Hanks and thanks are spelt the same.
That's true, Luke.
1, 2, 1, 2.
I see a good thing coming. Habits are slow to die. I've always been running, don't know why. When we're under the covers, I know you are mine. I hope that we're always lovers. We can try. Cool running, cool running, cool runnings. I see a good thing coming. I see it with my eyes. If we stop running, we can try. Cool running, cool running, cool running, cool running, cool runnings, cool runnings, cool runnings.
Thanks again, guys. That was Tashaki Miyaki on AUX Return. We'll see you guys next time. If you are listening to the podcast version of this, we do the show live whenever we do it, so you can check out the live stream of the show on our YouTube channel
at AUX RTN. And if you want to find any upcoming thing or find out the link for the live stream videos, we will update our Facebook and our Instagram. We got some good stuff coming up in May and other stuff getting booked in June right now. Thanks again.
Thanks again, guys.
Thank you again for
And
having
congratulations on the record.
us. Thank you.
All right.
Make sure you watch Joe versus the volcano.
I will. I'll make sure.
I never brought up the other movie that made me uncomfortable. It's Inner Space. So, by the way, just to end with that.
Is that another Tom Hanks?
It's Meg Ryan and Dennis Quaid, and is Martin Short, right?
Martin Short always makes it uncomfortable.
But no, Martin Short's the best. Dennis Quaid gets shrunken into a miniature person and goes inside Meg Ryan in a little spaceship type.
Goes inside Martin Short.
No, he goes inside Meg Ryan at one point and he sees that she's pregnant.
Terrifying.
Because they're making out. He switches bodies. He travels to the other body.
From a sneeze, don't they? He sneezes the guy out.
It's a weird movie.
I gotta get him off the glasses lens.
I could talk about this for a long time, but we'll leave it there.
We'll start a VHS list.
Yeah.
Thanks again, guys.
Bye.
I don't think that one's as Zemeckis.
What?